All right, my friends, this is Jeremy from Shine Insurance, your host on the Shine Insurance YouTube channel. If you're in this video space today, maybe you're a designer, maybe you're a developer, maybe you think you're both, but we all know nobody is a designer and a developer of SaaS products. You got to be one or the other, but you know, that's another conversation. Maybe you're a CFO, a CEO, a COO, or maybe you're just an intern who's got stuck with the job of figuring out insurance for your company. And really all you want to do is be friends with Billy because Billy's really your buddy. And that's the reason you're hanging out at this company, but you got stuck figuring out insurance, and so you're watching this video. So for you, I apologize. For everyone else, we are going to break down the insurance you need for your SaaS product company. So what are we going to learn exactly? We're going to talk first about general liability insurance, second about property insurance, third, a little bit more fun, about E&O or professional liability, and finally, we'll talk about cyber. And finally, at the end, I'm going to pop out a bonus for you, the SaaS policy cheat sheet. You'll be able to use this to look at your existing policy or quotes you get for your company and make sure you have all the right coverages that you need. They're all kind of listed in there. And so you can see what the quote does have, what it doesn't have, and make sure you've got the right stuff that you need and want for your policy. And of course, there is no code knowledge required for the policy cheat sheet, so stick around for that. All right, let's start with general liability coverage, the most basic of liability coverage. What does it mean? Well, it's coverage for physical bad things that happen to other people because of you. Lots and lots of businesses need general liability coverage. In fact, really all businesses need general liability coverage. It could be someone walking by the front of your storefront, slipping and falling, getting hurt inside your space, getting hurt because of your contractor doing work in your front yard, or your lawn mowing guy throwing a rock through your window. General liability coverage is physical damage, coverage for physical damage or bad things that happen to other people because of you. So examples in your world could be someone tripping on that golden doodle that you bring to work every day, or it could be someone gets a third-degree burn from one of your self-serve latte machines that you bought thinking it would make such good lattes, and in reality, just not the most amazing, but at least they're there. Or maybe someone breaks their arm in the sumo wrestling competition you threw because, well, I don't know, you just wanted to throw a sumo wrestling competition, whatever. Suddenly, someone broke their arm in it. You've got general liability coverage that's going to protect you in that situation. This is coverage for physical bad things that happen to other people because of you. That's general liability coverage. Let's talk about the next type of coverage, the other kind of basic coverage that any kind of business needs, whether it's a tech business or a restaurant or a hair salon. You need property coverage, which is coverage for your stuff, right? So you need coverage for that standing desk you just picked up off of Amazon. You've got to have coverage for the stack of the latest Mac products that you just purchased. Of course, you've got to have property coverage for your Lenovo System X Pentadeca Core server. You bought that thing for $150,000, and you definitely need to cover that. You need coverage, of course, for your fleet of Bluetooth bicycles that you got for your staff because you're just that kind of boss, right? You need coverage for that, and that is the property coverage that you have on your policy. And of course, you need coverage for that warehouse you bought outside of town and renovated by removing every single wall just to set everything up right? And then you installed a roller skating rink. Of course you did. Why wouldn't you have? And you need coverage for that, and that is property coverage on your insurance policy. So what it means is coverage for your stuff. Property coverage is simply coverage for bad things that happen to your stuff. Now, those are the two basic things that pretty much any business needs, right? Any insurance policy has that's worth its weight in quarters or Bitcoin or whatever. General liability and property coverage are the two coverages that every business have. It's really rookie stuff though. General liability and property coverage, rookie stuff. Let's dig into the real tech insurance stuff. What you really need, the most important thing that you absolutely need on your insurance policy is professional liability coverage. This is coverage for bad things that happen to other people because of your advice or decisions. You thought you were a designer and a developer, turned out doesn't work so well together. Should have stuck with your developer core and had someone else be the designer. Turned out now your client is super unhappy with you because you promised the world and it didn't come through. They've decided to file a lawsuit. You have professional liability coverage to protect you for that. It can also be called errors and omissions coverage. Generally, those terms are used interchangeably. Sometimes errors and omissions can be a part of professional liability. Just depends. Talk to your insurance agent about that for sure. But they generally are used interchangeably. So what are some examples? Well, you created a map app. It's the best. Of course it is. Your map app sent someone, though, off an unfinished bridge. Why it did that, I don't really know. It probably has to do with that whole developer-designer relationship. But in the end, it did that. Something bad happened. They decided to file a lawsuit or whatever. Your professional advice was not so good, and now you've got a lawsuit on your hand. Your professional liability coverage is going to jump in and help. Your $200,000 guaranteed web traffic system turned out to repel clients. So you promised your clients something, and it didn't come through. Now your clients aren't very happy with you, and they're coming after you to try and get compensated in some way. That doesn't always turn into an insurance claim, but it can, and that's why you have professional liability insurance. Your subcontractor wrote bad code and cost clients thousands of dollars. You know, code means everything, and if it's written wrong, it can take people the wrong direction, do the wrong things, and lead to some really bad stuff. So that could be a professional liability claim, plain and simple, and you've got coverage for it. Okay, so your Fat Beats app infringed on Jay-Z's intellectual property. You know you just love all those beats in Jay-Z's repertoire, and you just got a little bit too close to one. Now he's coming after you, or coming after your client that you connected with on this beat, and you're in a copyright infringement situation. A lot of professional liability policies do have coverage for this as well. Obviously, you want to check in with your insurance agent to make sure this example is something that would be covered on yours, as in all these other examples as well. Of course, I am talking generally about insurance and the type of professional liability insurance that I like to offer people. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything's included in your policy. That's why you got to talk to an insurance agent and get it figured out. So what is professional liability? It is coverage for bad things that happen to other people because of your advice or decisions. It's not physical damage that happens to other people like the general liability. It's more damage to their reputation or damage to their business or the direction that they decided to go. It just didn't work out. All those kinds of things are professional liability covered. Okay, so the fourth and final is a cyber breach. Cybersecurity, big deal. Obviously, anybody who's in this world understands that. And sometimes no matter what you do, you could experience a cyber breach. So this is coverage in your insurance policy for that type of situation. It's coverage for bad things that happen because of a cyber attack, right? There's a whole slew of bad things that can happen in that situation, and a good cyber insurance policy is going to be set up to deal with all of those. I'm not going to go into like super big detail on this video, but I'm going to break down basically the two parts of cyber breach coverage. So basically there is damage to you or your stuff, and then there's damage to others and their stuff. So let's look at both of those. Damage to you is like your system is locked, right? So you actually do not have access to your hardware or your software. You are incapable of accessing it. Files could be lost or corrupted. That should be corrupted, obviously. That's a misspelled word there. Whoever is doing the code for my wonderful PowerPoint video, I'm going to have to fire them now, and hopefully I'll have coverage if anything comes back on me. Files are lost or corrupted, or your business simply can't run. We're going to have some business income coverage, some coverage for dealing with income that you lost because your system was down. Or if your reputation is even worse than it already was, that's going to be something that could be covered to help make your reputation better. You don't have coverage on your insurance policy to just make your reputation better than it is on a normal everyday basis. But if you experience a cyber breach, we can help to bring your reputation back to the abysmal place it was before the bad thing happened. Also, it can be damage to others, right? So you had the personal information of 1 million single Star Trek lovers on your app, and now someone else does. So what does that mean? What are we going to do to deal with that? Well, your policy helps cover the cost of helping all those Star Trek lovers recover their identity and maybe connect with each other in lots of very funky and cool ways. We're going to cover some of the costs associated with that. So that's damage to others. Your policy also helps to cover the cost of, helping everyone recover their own identity. So there's been quite a few high profile scenarios recently where huge companies like Equifax and others have experienced data breaches. They hopefully, I would assume, have cyber policies that jumped in and helped with the millions of dollars in costs to deal with both damage to others and what we talked about before, damage to themselves. Now, a rookie mistake, I'm going to tell you right now, is thinking that your general liability coverage, what I talked about at the very beginning, will help you in any of your professional or cyber activities. It's an absolute rookie mistake thinking that general liability coverage, which is super cheap because for tech companies it's a very limited exposure, is covering you for any of this other stuff. It is not covering you for any of this other stuff. General liability is just for physical injuries that happen to people because of you. So that could be their relationship with your space, right? It doesn't have anything to do with your advice or your software or your code or any of that kind of stuff, or cyber attacks or any of that. You're not going to have coverage if you just have general liability coverage. You're going to be very sad. You're going to be crying, and nobody really wants that, right? So what did we learn in this video? Well, we talked about general liability coverage. We talked about property coverage. We talked about E&O, errors and omissions, or professional liability coverage, probably the most important coverage of these four. And finally, we talked about cyber. This is if there's a cyber breach, we're going to cover not only for damage done to you and your software or hardware, but also damage done to others generally associated with their identity and their personal information. There we go. We got it. Now, let's talk about that bonus. So if you go down into the description of this video, there is a link. And in that link, there's a very simple PDF. There's nothing fancy or anything like that. It looks just like this picture on the screen. But it has all the different coverages that could be in your insurance policy. And this is just a picture of the first page. There's like 3 pages or something like that, right? So it has professional, cyber, general liability, property. It even has like workers' comp and commercial auto if you have cars in the name of your business. Maybe that self-driving fleet of vehicles that you have for your business. You need to insure that, obviously. So you should have some coverage for that. So check that out. Go ahead and download it. You can use it as you wish and look at policies that are maybe you have already. Look at what you have and what you don't have, and maybe talk to your insurance agent about adding some of this stuff that maybe concerns you. Or if you're looking at quotes, this is a way to kind of compare one quote to another. So there you go. SaaS policy cheat sheet. Gave it to you as a bonus. Bam. If you want more, we've got some more stuff on our channel. We have the workers' comp audit video, just tantalizing video about audits associated with workers' comp insurance. You are going to love it, I know, because you're just blown away by this one at this point, I'm sure. If you want to listen to our podcast, this is pretty awesome. We interview a whole bunch of different entrepreneurs and business owners. We love chatting with entrepreneurs and just kind of hearing where they're coming from, what they do, some of their ups, some of their downs. And I think a lot of times when I listen to the podcast, it really makes me think, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one that has that problem, or I'm not the only one who's ever struggled with that moment in the process, or wow, they made it. I can totally do it too. So Scratch Entrepreneur Podcast, check it out. If you want more from Shine, from us, maybe you want to get some tech insurance from us, we'd be more than happy to offer it to you, of course. Check us out at shineinsurance.com. And as always, the last steps in this video are please subscribe to our channel. We would love to put our videos into your inbox as soon as they come out so you can learn more about insurance, which I know you're stoked to do. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, I guess you can give it a thumbs down, but at least put a comment in the comment section and tell me why. Those thumbs downs, I always wondered, right? It's like, okay, well, thumbs down. What did I do wrong? What was terrible about this video? I want to know so I can make my next video better. And finally, I hope you'll share. Maybe it's Facebook. Maybe it's, I don't know, whatever app you just created, like that's going to blow the world away. Like, share this video as the first thing you share on that app. I would love it. It would be awesome. And you can tweet me about it and tell me all about it. Okay. This is Jeremy from Shine Insurance. I hope you learned a little bit about your SaaS product business insurance. Until the next time, have a wonderful day.